Can you talk to us a bit about what's known as immunity debt? The idea that after several years of avoiding viruses, it's now caught up in some way, and that is leading to more severe cases for some people.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think that that hypothesis probably had more validity at a time when we were moving around a lot less, where we were exposing ourselves to viruses a lot less at the height of the pandemic, when we were socially isolated or forced to be, that we weren't exposing ourselves to the routine seasonal viruses. So it may not have been a surprise, particularly last season and then the last two seasons, that we would have seen an uptick. But we've been going on 2 years here in New York and like much of the country, we've been in a relatively normalized environment where we've pulled down restrictions on movement, we've pulled down requirements on face protection, and even we've pulled down a lot of our mandates around vaccines. And so, that hypothesis doesn't exactly hold in the same way that it might have in prior years. But one thing may be true is that, number one, our kids are certainly growing up in a time of increased hygiene and protection against these routine viruses that they might have been more exposed to in the pre-pandemic era. And two, that we know a lot more about the COVID vaccines and how they perform. And it's pretty clear that, and it's partly why we're moving to a more annualized vaccine schedule, that we need to update our immunity each year. So much as we do for flu, we will see a waning immunity as we end the viral season, and then we need to update it next fall. The last thing I'll say is that, particularly with shifting climates and shifting seasons, viral season is lasting longer and longer. And so we're seeing significant transmission into April, and sometimes even into early May, when in the past viral season typically ended pretty clearly year after year in March. And so, taking all of those things into account is maybe why we're seeing some of these shifting patterns. I don't think immunity debt explains all of it.